Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, racing fans. We are just moments away from the start of qualifying here in Vallelunga. Alright, we have the start of our practice session now. Today is going to be 10 minutes of practice, 30 minutes of qualifying, and a 50-lap race. We have our first car out on track. That is 1-7 making their way around the first few corners. So far we have 5 racers here today. We are expecting at least 2 more than that. Under 7 locking up, running a bit deep in the middle of Sector 2, able to keep it on the track. We have our second car out on the track, that is Horlev. They have been dominant in this series so far. Will we see a challenger here today? We will wait and see. Wonder 7 now making their way through the final corner. Now starting a hot lap. We are going to follow them around the track for this lap. It's a double apex here, turn 2. Flat left, turn 3, and that is the end of Sector 1 already. We have a couple more cars out on track. We see Craig Hamilton now making their way through the first few corners. Now the start of Sector 2. We see a long right-hander. Short straight into a hard braking zone and a tight left-hand corner. Number 7 now nearly entering the final sector. We've got a long right-hander followed by a long left-hander, but now starting the final sector. We have only 3 corners to go before the end of the lap. Wonder 7 keeping it on the track, keeping the lines tidy. Bit of a slalom through here and then into the final corner. Once again, a long right-hander onto the very small start-finish straight. weather today is clear, air temperature only 9 degrees Celsius, track temperature 30 degrees, so the grip will not be abundant. Wonder 7 has put in the first lap of the day, a 112.914. We've seen in practice a 109.2 from Horolov, so will they be able to match that today here in qualifying? We have now 6 cars out on track. This is an incredible turnout so far. We're going to have a look at these 3 starting their practice laps. They are very close together. They are going to have to keep it clean and make sure there are no collisions between any of them. As who is this? Ozzen runs wide off the track, losing a bit of time, going to fall back, but it is only practice. We see in front of them Craig Hamilton in the Mercedes. We see behind LB906 in the Views car. Wonder 7 now puts in the fastest Sector 1, puts in the fastest Sector 2. We'll be looking for a strong Sector 3. We're going to jump back to them, a bit of contact there. But Wonder 7 now coming through the final corner and looking for a strong lap. What's it going to be? It is a 112.1, which is 0.8 ahead of their personal best. Wonder 7 now stopping on the track, nearly causing a collision. No damage there. Emery K starting some practice laps, taking a trip onto the grass, but sending it back to the pit lane. Craig Hamilton now starting a flying lap. But pulling off to the side. We have about 5 minutes left in practice. LB906 stopping on track. L Dragon entering the final sector in the Mercedes car. Also stopping it on the track. There is we see Emery K entering the second sector. See LB906 running a bit wide, getting back on the track, but this will not be a lap for them. Entering the final sector now, a bit wide again through these last few corners, but gonna keep it on the track. Barely keeping it on the track, hitting the curbs, making their way now towards the line. We see Horolov currently in second position, looking to change that. They will be starting a flying lap soon. Once again, it is a 50-lap race today, so these drivers are going to have to manage their tires, they're going to have to manage their fuel, and there will be pit stops involved. Orlov unable to match Wonder 7 in the first sector. We have seen them quicker in practice. It is a 109.2 for Horolov, a 110.0 for Wonder 7, so Horolov should have the pace to match them here. Unable to find it right now. Horolov now crossing the line. Horolov crossing the line, a 115.1 for them, not the lap that they were looking for. See L Dragon looking for a lap out here in the Mercedes car. through the first sector. It is green for them. Locking up, running a bit wide on the exit, keeping it on the track, keeping it between the lines, and moving now towards the final sector. LB906 goes fastest in Sector 1. Will they have a lap to contend with Wonder 7 here? We have only a minute left in practice, so if they're going to beat them, they have to do it now. As we see L Dragon spinning off the track, they are going to be unable to put a lap in today. We're going to follow LB906 coming through the second sector. Looks to be keeping it clean. Through the right-hander, down towards Sector 3. What's the Sector 2 going to be? It is going to be equal for LB906. Will they be able to match Wonder 7's lap time? I don't know. Entering now the final corner. We see Ozin ahead. Also coming through the same corner. LB906 onto the start-finish straight. And the lap time is a 1:12.6. Enough for second position. Half a second off of Wonder 7 in first. Ray K coming into the final corner now. Will they have a lap to put up? Practice is now over. So this should be the last lap for all of the drivers here. Emery K able to improve to first position for them, 500ths ahead of Wonder 7. It's a 1:12.1. Craig Hamilton coming through the final corner. Looks to be behind their personal best and into the wall. They are unable to improve. Horlov will be looking to improve, but spinning out of the final corner, and it will not be an improvement for them. We see L Dragon coming through the final sector now. Looks to be having a bit of trouble with the curbs, able to keep it on track. Just barely. Now entering the final corner, will they be able to improve their lap time? No, they will not. A 1:35.5 for them. We see LB906 coming through the final corner. Entering the pit lane. Ozin coming through the final corner. This will be their first lap of the day. And they are unable to set a lap here in practice. That is I believe a 20-minute qualifying. So plenty of time for these drivers to get out here and put in the best lap that they can. Wonder 7 coming through the final corner, looking for an improvement in the Porsche car. And unable to find an improvement. So the final practice order is Emery K P1, Wonder 7 P2, LB906 P3, Horlov P4, L Dragon P5, Craig Hamilton P6, and Ozin P7. It is only half a tenth separating the first and second place cars going into our qualifying session. So we may have a battle on our hands. Qualifying now getting underway. We see LB906, the first car out onto the track. Ozin following shortly behind. Smooth D. Anderson has joined us. Now they have been another one of the strong forces in this series. So they will be definitely looking to fight for a win today. We see LB906 making their way around the track. This is only an outlap for them. They will be looking to warm up their tires and warm up their brakes and prepare for their first time lap of the day. Now entering the final sector on their outlap. And we will see them very shortly starting a hot lap here in Vallelunga. LB906 rounding the final corner, getting the exit they need onto the start-finish straight, and they will be starting their first time lap of the day. We are going to follow them around for it. Through Curva Grande and down towards turn 3. Nailing that double apex, but running wide off the track. Will that invalidate their lap? We will have to wait and see. They seem to be continuing. We see a few more cars now starting time laps. Horlev, Wonder 7, Smoothie Anderson. I believe all are starting time laps now. LB906 keeping it on the track through Sector 2 now. Hard braking zone into the left-hander. Barely able to keep it inside the curves on the exit, but able to do so. Now through the long right-hander and into the final sector they will go. Running a bit wide, but spinning out. This will be not the lap for LB906. They will have to try again. Ozan now, the last driver to start a timed lap, but LB906 will be unable to put one in this time around. Horlev entering the final sector. Putting in the quickest Sector 2 that we've seen. Not that that's much to say. And they will be, it appears, the first driver to put in a valid timed lap today here at Vallelunga. Now through the final corner. Keeping it on the track, keeping it tight to the apex, getting the speed on the exit, and the benchmark to beat is a 111.4 from Horlev. Wonder 7 P2 with a 112.5. And Smoothie Anderson will be starting a flying lap now. We see L Dragon coming around the final corner. This will be their first time lap of the day. And it is a 118.3 for them. Much improvement needed. Emery K, a 110.9. That is the quickest lap we have seen today by quite a big margin, actually. Half a second from Emery K to Horlev. Horlev will be looking to come back on this. LB906 will be looking to get in on the party as well. Ozan now coming through the final corner, their first time lap of the day. And it's a 116.0 for them. Wonder 7 has set the fastest Sector 1. Currently P3. We don't have data for Sector 2, but will they be able to improve? They are currently P3. They are a second and a half behind first position. That is a lot of lap time to find, but will they be able to do it? Through the final corner now, onto the start-finish straight. And it is P1 Wonder 7, 0.8 ahead of Emery K with a 110.158. Smoothie Anderson up to 4th position, a 2.5 seconds off of P1. LB906 still unable to put in a timed lap today. Looks like they will be trying to do so now. A bit of a lockup into the left-hander, keeping it on the track, not running wide. And moving now towards the final sector. LB906 through the last few corners. This is where they had issues last time, spun off the track. This time they will have to keep it clean. We have 15 minutes left in qualifying. LB906 rounds the final corner, keeps the car glued to the track, but unable to take first position. It's up to 3rd for them, a 111.06. Putting them 9/10 off of the lead today. Horlev coming around the final corner. Able to improve, but only by 100th. Not enough to move up any position. Smoothie Anderson, 2 green sectors. And a huge improvement for them, a second and a half, bumping them up to 3rd position. Emery K has gone fastest in Sector 2. They have set a personal best in Sector 1. And we are going to follow them around the last few corners. Wonder 7 goes fastest in Sector 3. Looks like they are unable to improve, though. Emery K now making their way to the line. Unable to move up to 1st position, taking a good chunk of lap time. That's 2.5 tenths quicker than their previous personal best, but unable to beat out Wonder 7, who has established themselves as the car to beat today. Ozan now moving towards the final corner. We've got 2 green sectors for them. And on to the start-finish straight. It is a 1:16.0, only 100th ahead of their personal best. Not the lap that they need here today. Craig Hamilton has not yet put a lap in. Ozan and El Dragon about 5 and 7 seconds off the pace respectively, so they will have to find a lot more out of this car if they want a chance at fighting for the top positions here today. LB906 appears to be now starting a timed lap. Smooth Anderson closely following. Will be looking to do the same. Wonder 7 leaving the pit lane, getting ready to put in another lap. We see LB906 hitting that double apex perfectly, getting the speed that they need onto the top straight, and moving now towards Sector 2. And for LB906, they appear to be about 0.3 of a second ahead of their personal best. Smooth Anderson following them appears to be about the same. It is going to be a fight between these two, potentially for second, potentially for third position. LB making their way into the final sector now. We see Horlev coming around the final corner. Will they be able to improve? They will start a timed lap now. LB906 making their way through the final corner onto the start-finish straight. What's the lap time going to be? It is a 1:10.5, enough for second position. We see Smooth Anderson, a 1:10.4, just a tenth ahead of LB906 and 0.3 behind Wonder 7, so it's second position for them with the fastest Sector 3 of the day. Wonder 7 starting a timed lap now, but Emery K has gone quickest in the middle sector. We'll be looking for an improvement. Currently in 4th position. They cross the line and they move up to first position, a 1:09.9. That is the quickest lap that we have seen today. Wonder 7 though has been the car to beat, unable to match their pace in Sector 1. Horlev quickest in Sector 2. Horlev making their way through the final corner. They've gone personal best Sector 1. They've gone purple Sector 2. And in Sector 3, it is going to be first position for them, a 1:09.5. That is a massive lap for them. We see Wonder 7 looking for an improvement. Purple in the middle sector. A bit of grass there, but making their way through the final corner. And to the line, and for them, it is a 1:09.95, matching Emery K's lap time exactly. That is truly remarkable. LB906 making their way towards the line. Will they be starting a timed lap? I believe they will. Horlev making their way back out onto the track after that monster of a lap. Will they be able to improve even more? I would be very impressed. LB906 spinning, unable to make this the lap that they needed. We see El Dragon in the background also running a bit wide in the same corner. Horlev on their outlap making their way through that corner as well and keeping it on the track. We see Emery K appears to have started a timed lap. Wonder 7 quickest in the middle sector. We are going to follow them through the last few corners. They're going to ride on board with Wonder 7 now, making their way towards the final corner. Horlev quickest in Sector 3. Unable to improve for them. Wonder 7 making their way to the line. Unable to take first position, able to take second position, a 1:09.698, leaving them only a tenth off of the leader, that is Horlev. Horlev making their way through the final corners. I believe this is an outlap for them, but they will be starting a timed lap as soon as they cross the line here. Smooth Anderson, the only car in the pit lane. Everyone else looking to improve their lap time. Orlov on their time lap, using every inch of the track that they have, but keeping it clean, keeping it steady as they move towards the middle sector. And it is a green sector 1 for them. Though I believe that data may be inaccurate. Orlov now through the hard left-hander, down through the braking zone. Making their way now towards sector 3. We see Emery K a bit behind them, looking to put in a lap as well. Orlov in sector 2. Able to improve a 26.2 in the middle sector for them. Fastest we have seen all day. And Orlov has only 2 corners to the line now. Will they be able to improve their lap time even further? One more corner. And on to the start for the straight goes Orlov. And it is a 109.329 for Orlov. An incredible lap from them. Emery K will be unable to match it. They are multiple seconds off of their pace, but we see Wonder 7 quickest in the first sector. Making their way now towards the final sector through this long right-hand corner. The pace from them has been incredible so far. However, the middle sector, they have lost a lot of that time and now 4/10 behind the lead. That will be a tall order to make up. We see El Dragon shortly ahead, but Wonder 7 getting on the grass, unable to improve, and they will be heading back to the pit lane. El Dragon across the line, unable to improve. Smoothie Anderson on the grass will be looking to start a lap next time around. We see LB906 looked like one of the contenders earlier on, now seems to be unable to match the pace of the top 3, the top 2 cars. Emery K looks to be improving their lap time. It is green in the middle sector for them through the final corner now. And on to the start-finish straight. It's looking strong, and it's looking like a 109.706, a personal best for them. I don't believe that has been any new positions though. Ozan making their way through the final corner. Does not look to be on a strong lap, unfortunately. But now on to the start-finish straight. And the lap time is a 114.4, not the lap that they needed here today. LB906 closely following, appears to be starting a timed lap. Smooth Anderson also starting a timed lap. We see Orlov overtaking El Dragon into the final corner. El Dragon seems to have moved out of the way for them, and Orlov will now be starting another timed lap. Orlov once again using all of the track that they have been given onto the top straight now. It's LB906 appears to be off the track. Will not be the lap for them. Orlov only 400ths off of their pace in the first sector. That is a gap that they can absolutely overcome in the middle sector. It'll have to be late on the brakes, and it is late on the brakes into the hard left-hand corner. And into the right-hander, entering now into the final sector. Appears to be still behind their personal best. Fastest in Sector 2, but too slow in Sector 1 so far to improve. Orlov has only 2 corners if they want to improve their lap time, using once again all of the track and all of the curbs surrounding it. And it's through the final corner for Orlov onto the start-finish straight. And they're able to improve a 108.963. Once again, an incredible lap from them. El Dragon rounding the final corner with a personal best in the middle sector. Crossing the line, but unable to improve 9/10 off of their personal best. We see Emery K crossing the line, starting a timed lap. We see Wonder 7 on a timed lap, looking to improve. Will they be able to match Orlov's lap time though? It is hard to say. Wonder 7 now through the final corner. and it is a 109.4 personal best for them, but Horlev is in a league of their own still, 5/10 ahead. LB906 crosses the line, starts a timed lap. Ozan now making their way through the final sector, catching a bit of curb on the inside, able to keep it on the track. Through the final corner, it's a personal best in the middle sector for them. Will they be able to turn that into a personal best for the lap? No, they will not. It is 2/10 off of their pace there. Smooth Anderson crossing the line, unable to improve. We see Horlev very, very closely followed. Potentially. Not exactly sure what's happening there, but see Horlev now through the final corner. Here we are, very closely followed by a car that has just gone off the track. So Horlev now with some clean air, looking to make yet another improvement. We know they lost about half a tenth in the first sector. They will be looking to get that half a tenth back as we come through turn 3. Emery K seems to be starting a lap. LB906 should be ending a lap now, but they are unable to improve. Horlev, green in the first sector, looks to be potentially as much as 3/10 ahead of their personal best. LB906 off the track. We see Smooth Anderson about to finish a lap. Ozan potentially about to finish a lap. A bit of a lockup for Horlev there. Will that put a pin in their lap time? No, it will not, as they go fastest in Sector 2. Only 3 corners left for them. Only 1 corner left for Horlev if they want to take another chunk out of this already incredible lap. And they are able to improve by 900 to 108.878 for them. Only 1 minute 40 seconds. So Horlev will potentially have a lap. Potentially have one more lap to improve here. Emery K coming through the final corner. And unable to improve this time around, but they will start a lap and they will potentially have time for one more after that. We see Ozan coming through the final few corners here into Sector 3. It hasn't been the strongest Sector 1 for them, and it will not be the strongest Sector 2 either. They are about 2 seconds off of their own pace. Not what they will be looking to see. Smooth Anderson starting a timed lap. Will have time for one more, potentially. We see Wonder 7 starting a timed lap. This will likely be the last lap that they are going to get. So, LB906 moving towards the line will be starting one more lap, and this will be the only more laps that they will have today here in qualifying. Starting a lap for them. Horlev appears to not be on their pace here. Anyway, coming through the final corner, they will have time for one more. It looks like Emery K and Smooth Anderson potentially will as well. Horlev starting their last time lap of the day. Will be looking to make it count. Emery K crossing the line. Able to improve only by a 10th, but will have one more lap to do so. Smooth Anderson has only 10 seconds to make it to the line if they want to start one more lap. It is going to be very close, but it looks like they're going to just do it. So it's one more lap for Smooth Anderson. Wonder 7 will have to make this lap count, as it is the last one they're going to get. It is off the track again, LB906. They will be unable to improve. Wonder 7 appears to be unable to improve. Potentially going to try to fit in one more lap. I don't think it's going to work. Horlev coming through the middle sector. Looking to improve. Already in first position. Going quickest once again in Sector 2. Looking to make it count in Sector 3. Hitting a bit of curb on the inside. Catching a bit of grass on the outside. Will they be able to improve? No, they will not. They will finish with a 108.8. Emery K closely following. A 109.522. Able to improve, but only by a few hundredths. We have now Smooth Anderson will have this lap. Wonder 7 may not have another one. Smooth Anderson looking to improve. Currently a 109.8 in P4. able to improve a 109.6, not enough to bump them up onto the podium for the start of the race. Wonder 7, the last driver, with potentially a chance to finish a lap here. Looks like they will finish a lap here, but they are unable to improve. That is a 109.417. And our final qualifying order here in Vallelunga, it is Horlev P1 with a 108.878, Wonder 7 in P2, Emery K in P3, Smooth Anderson in P4, LB906 in P5, Ozen in P6, Craig Hamilton P7, and L Dragon in P8. We have now a minute 30 until our countdown starts, so here's a message from our sponsors. We hear a bit of debate from our drivers about whether there was an incident in the final lap of qualifying. Emery claims to have been impeded on their last lap. The driver is defending. We see Ozen in the chat complaining about some upshift issues. Potentially, this could hurt them in the course of the race. We have only 10 seconds until our countdown starts here in Vallelunga. And we are going to make our way out to the grid shortly. And 1 minute now until the start of our race. We are going to follow the top 3 through the first corner. Okay, the start of our race will be delayed until 12:45 local time. This is not the race start, folks. We have about 7 minutes until that. We see some cars trying to move a bit of carnage on the grid. The server will be reset in a few minutes for the start of the race. We see a few of our cars potentially trying to get a bit of extra practice in here after the false race start. We have only 6 minutes until the real start of our race, but it is LB906, L Dragon, and Craig Hamilton are out on the track, trying to get a couple laps in while they can. Bit of contact between these two. It appears we will have one more driver joining us for the race start. It is Thug. We saw them last weekend. Thug X, I believe. See our cars now making their way back into the pit lane, preparing for the race start, which will be in 5 minutes now. We have only about a minute now until the start of our race here in Vallelunga. It is going to be 50 laps to victory for one of our cars. 50 laps to defeat for the rest. We should be underway very shortly. It's the LB906, Craig Hamilton, still trying to get a little bit of extra practice in. We have 45 seconds until the start of our race, for real this time, I believe, here in Vallelunga. All of our cars lined up on the grid. We are once again going to follow the top three. Alright, 10 seconds until the start of our race. We have some lights. We have some lights again. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 lights in Italy. And it's lights out and away we go. We see almost all of our cars getting off the grid. No collisions so far, making our way down into turn 1. Should be flat. And it appears to be now into turn 3. We see some cars going wide. We see LB906 moving towards the outside. Smoothie Anderson looking for a risky move on them. And Smoothie Anderson actually getting it done, but losing a bit of speed to the gravel. LB906 making contact. Everyone seems to be keeping it facing forward. All of our cars are lined up here, moving now towards the middle sector through the right-hand corner. Wonder 7 in the lead. Korolov looking for a move, getting the move done down the inside, but moving wide on the exit, getting pushed off the track by Wonder 7. Wonder 7 is going to keep that one for now. Emery K, third position. LB906 in fourth. Korolov looking for the move again, sending it a bit deep, looking for the better exit. Unable to get anything done on Wonder 7 so far. Now these two are teammates, so they're not going to want to fight too much. We see a bit of wheel spin for one of them. Nothing catastrophic there. Emery K in third position, 1.3 seconds behind. Looks to be running wide on the curbs. LB906 behind, possibly looking to get a move done. Smoothie Anderson has dropped down to fifth position. I believe they started in fourth. Emery K in third position. Alright, Wonder 7 still defending from Horolov. It has been a battle between these two so far. Horolov believes they have the pace to pass. Korolov around the outside. Will they be able to make it stick on the exit? Yes, they will, as Horolov finally getting past Wonder 7. Emery K looking now to get a move. Wonder 7 has been compromised. LB906 appears to have run a bit wide. We see L dragging a bit behind the rest of the grid. Ozan has left us. They are no longer racing. And Smoothie Anderson looking for a move potentially on LB906. Emery K looking for a move still on Wonder 7. Wonder 7 very close behind Horolov. We could see a battle between these three for the top three positions. Craig Hamilton looking to get something done on Thug X. You can see that in the bottom left of your screen. Emery K looking for a slipstream, looking for some more speed, putting in the quickest lap of the race. Smoothie Anderson, though, quickly taking it from them. Craig Hamilton looking to be unable to get anything done on Thug X so far. Emery K still very close behind Wonder 7. Smoothie Anderson potentially will be catching LB906 shortly. And Emery K still looking for a place to get by, looking towards the inside. There's contact, and Wonder 7 runs wide. Emery K rear-ended them there, but Wonder 7 keeps it ahead for now. Emery K looking for the same move into the next corner, but unable to make it stick. We see Smoothie Anderson still looking for a way by LB906, about 6/10 back from them. Korolov has been able to pull out the lead to 2 seconds now. Emery K believes they have the pace to pass Wonder 7. Wonder 7 will not want to let that happen, and we will have a battle between these two. Smoothie Anderson getting very close to LB906, nearly made contact there, but keeping it clean. Korolov puts in the fastest lap of the race. It is a 1:11.2 for them. That is going to be the pace that these drivers need to keep up with if they want a chance at fighting for the lead. Smoothie Anderson still unable to get past LB906. Emery K still unable to get past Wonder 7, but Wonder 7 running a bit wide will give Emery K an opportunity. And running wide again into the gravel, losing so much speed, and Emery K getting that move done. Smooth Anderson looking for the move on LB906. Wonder 7 potentially looking to get back past Emery K. However, it doesn't look like they have had the pace to do so far. Smooth Anderson still looking for the move on LB. Wonder 7 looking to the inside but not able to be late enough on the brakes. Smooth Anderson only 4/10 off the back of LB906. Wonder 7 falling a second behind Emery K now. Orlov once again puts in the fastest lap of the race at 1:11.296. Smooth Anderson very close to the back of LB906. They have been quicker in the last lap, and Smooth Anderson now getting by around the outside and running a bit wide, looking like they'll be able to keep it ahead for now. And they will. LB906 now 4/10 back, will be looking for an opportunity to come back and get back past Smooth Anderson, looking towards the inside. Smooth a little bit later on the brakes, and they're both off the track. LB906 still behind, but has the better speed on the exit. Smooth Anderson on the inside will have the advantage. This is a long corner, and LB906 will have to put the power down, but is able to put the power down. Smooth Anderson still just barely inches ahead, but LB906 now has the inside. It's a long corner, and there's contact. Smooth Anderson is in the gravel and has lost the position now to LB906. Will be wanting LB to give that one back, and LB906 does not appear to be doing so. Smooth Anderson looking for another way by. LB not getting the best line. Horlov quickest lap again, a 1:11.268. Smooth Anderson a bit wide in the final corner. LB906 still looking for a way to catch up to them, catching a bit of a slipstream now down the front straight, and looking towards the inside, looking towards the outside, not finding a way to get by. LB906 all over the track. Smooth Anderson will not be happy with that. Smooth Anderson looking for it again, looking towards the inside, getting down the inside. Unable to be late enough on the brakes though. LB906 is going to stay ahead through the apex, is going to stay ahead on the exit as well. It's a hard braking zone into this one, and Smooth Anderson is late, but he is not late enough. LB906 staying ahead for now. Smooth looking for the inside. There's contact once again. Smooth down the inside. Will he be able to put the power down? Yes, he will, as LB906 now spins off the track. That will secure the position for now for Smooth Anderson, but it is a long race, so they may have an opportunity to come back. LB has lost the position to Thug X as well, so they're down to 6th place. Horlov quickest lap once again. Wonder 7 appears to be catching Emery K. LB906 back on the track all the way down to 7th position. A catastrophic incident for them. Wonder 7 only 4/10 behind Emery K, looking for a way to get back past. Emery K passed them a few laps ago, and they are going to want to get that one back to fight for 2nd position. In the Porsche car, Wonder 7 behind Emery K. I don't know what car that is ahead. Still close between them, but not close enough yet, it seems. And Wonder 7 appears to be losing a bit of pace on Emery K. It was 4/10, and now it's 5/10, the gap between them. Horlev has pulled out an incredible 8-second gap ahead of Emery K. Smooth Anderson will also be looking to close up the gap to Wonder 7 so he can fight for a podium. But right now, between Wonder 7 and Emery K, it appears to be equal. Emery K catching a bit of grass. Wonder 7 appears to have had an incident as well, as they're unable to close the gap up for now. Now over a second between the 2nd and 3rd place cars. Smooth Anderson looking for these two to start a battle will give him an opportunity to catch up and to fight for a podium. LB906 has taken a pit stop, potentially had some damage on their car, and that is likely what dropped them down to 7th position. They are unfortunately 40 seconds behind 6th place, so it is a tall order now for them to catch up. However, being a pit stop ahead will be a benefit for them, even if it was very early. Wonder 7 still losing out to Emery K, 1.2 behind. We're going to keep that gap on screen. We're going to have a look at Smoothie Anderson, 4 seconds behind third position. We'll be looking to close up that gap. Wonder 7 just losing and losing. It is now 1.3 between him and Emery K. And it appears to be opening out to 1.4, 1.5 seconds. Smoothie Anderson still about 4 seconds behind Wonder 7. Still trying to close up that gap. Appears to be closing it up a bit. 10th by 10th, it is now 3.9 between them. Wonder 7 about 1.5, 1.6 now behind Emery K. Not what they will want to see. We have the drivers telling us the track is feeling very grippy, but they are struggling a bit with tire temperatures. That is something that we may see more of here today. We have a car in front that has the higher tire temps. They are going to lose out some pace to the car behind. Speaking of, Smoothie Anderson catching Wonder 7. Wonder 7 falling behind Emery K. Smoothie Anderson will be looking to close up the gap and fight for a podium. Appears to have lost a bit of time. What happened there, I'm not exactly sure, but still about 4 seconds between them and third position. LB906 also appears to be closing the gap up to Craig Hamilton. It was 40 seconds. It is now 35. So they may have an opportunity to get back to the top 6, potentially top 5 here today. We're going to go on board now. Smoothie Anderson making their way through the first sector. You can just barely see the back of Wonder 7's car up there, now only 3.6 seconds away. And it is tight corners here in Vallelunga. This one especially, I believe, is the tightest corner on the track. And these drivers will have to make them every lap. We have some laps traffic, it appears, ahead. And they're off the track, maybe into the wall. Potentially will have to take the pit stop for that. That was, appears to be L Dragon. Has there been a collision between LB and Horlock? We see Smoothie Anderson now into the pit lane for their first pit stop. I believe there has been some conflict here between Horlov and LB906. LB now a ways behind and a lap behind Horlov, but I believe there was contact when LB was lapped. Wonder 7 still losing time to Emery K, 2.2 seconds behind now. Their chances at a podium are looking less and less hopeful by the minute. Smoothie Anderson out of the pits now. And back onto the track looking to make up some of the time that they've lost from that pit stop. Craig Hamilton behind, a bit wide. Not a huge issue for them, but Smoothie Anderson on the fresh tires and with the stronger pace will pull away very quickly. And with only a 5-second gap to Thug X ahead, we'll see them close that one up rapidly as well. Wonder 7 now into the pit lane. We are going to see more of that from all drivers here out on track, except potentially LB906, who did take their stop earlier. But that is going to temporarily promote Smoothie Anderson up a lot, potentially as far as second, maybe first position. Wonder 7 making their way out of the pits. Going to be very close to Smoothie Anderson. Smoothie Anderson, you can see behind, is going to have much more speed coming down towards turn 3, but not ahead yet. They're up to 5th position after their pit stop, and only 4/10 behind Wonder 7. However, Wonder 7 on a lap fresher tires will be looking to defend. Smooth Anderson very close to the back. We see some lap traffic. Hopefully will not be an issue. Does not appear to be an issue as they have gotten past it now. Wonder 7 still out in front. Smooth Anderson still chasing them 6/10 behind. Wonder 7 may have the stronger pace here. We will have to wait and see. It appears that Smooth Anderson is losing time to Wonder 7. It was about 4/10 when Wonder 7 exited the pits. It is about 1.2 seconds now. Wonder 7 looking to make up some time though on Thug X, only 1.2 behind there. Smooth Anderson does also appear to be catching now. It's gone from 1.2, it is now 1.0, and now 0.9 seconds between Smooth and Wonder 7. Wonder 7 still trying to catch Thug X, unable to put the pace in right now, but Smooth Anderson appears to be doing just that. Smooth Anderson very close now to the back, only 4/10 between him and Wonder 7. Smooth will be looking for a place to get by very shortly if they can keep this pace up, and that is Thug X off the track, running wide, and they're going to lose the position to Smooth, and they're going to lose the position to Wonder 7. Smooth very late on the brakes, Wonder 7 very slow at the apex, and nearly a collision there, managed to avoid it. Smooth Anderson now right on the gearbox of Wonder 7. Wonder 7 looking to stay ahead, but Smooth has shown the pace to overtake. Wonder 7 running a bit wide in the entry to the final corner. Keeping it on the track though, and Smooth Anderson now losing a bit of time on the start-finish straight. 4/10 still between them. Smooth catching a bit of a slipstream, but it is not going to be enough for a move into turn 3. Potentially. Nope, Smooth Anderson early on the brakes, not looking to run off the track. Wonder 7 staying ahead for now. Thug X is into the pits, potentially after that off-track incident. They had some damage. Smooth Anderson catching a slipstream, deploying the battery, and managing to get by Wonder 7. Wonder 7, though, on the inside will be looking to hold the position. They are side by side. Smooth Anderson just barely ahead. Wonder 7 just barely later on the brakes. Through the hard left-hand corner, Smooth Anderson able to stay next to Wonder 7 just barely as we move now towards the final sector. Very close between the two of them. Wonder 7 showing a bit more racecraft. Smooth Anderson showing a bit more pace. And Wonder is going to stay ahead for now. 4/10 still between them. 2/10 now, and into the final corner. Wonder 7 looking to the inside for the braking zone. Getting to the inside and able to hold up Wonder, it appears. But it is roughly equal on the start-finish straight. Wonder potentially with a bit better exit. There's contact. Both cars keeping it on track. That could have been a much, much worse incident, but Smooth Anderson still ahead on the inside. Wonder 7 a bit later on the brakes. Smooth Anderson falling behind once again. It is very, very close between these two cars. Still side by side. Smooth Anderson looking around the outside. Unable to make it stick, but potentially putting the throttle down a bit harder. Now on the inside, it's a hard braking zone. It's a lockup for Smooth Anderson. Wonder 7 unable to get by. Smooth pulling the gap out, only 2/10 of a second though. And it is very, very close still between the two of these cars. Into the final sector now. Smooth Anderson is ahead, will be looking to stay ahead, and will be looking to pull that gap out. It is about 9/10 at the moment. Smooth making it a second, potentially looking to make it more. Emery K has been into the pits, has come out of the pits, and is still in second position. Horlev still in first. Horlev through the final few corners. Has not, I believe, taken a pit stop yet. but with a nearly 40-second gap ahead of second place, it may not affect them when they do. We see Smooth Anderson has pulled the gap to Wonder 7 out over a second and a half now, nearly 2 seconds. Potentially a bit of struggling from these cars. Although on the pressure tires, I wouldn't expect it. We have now Horla first position, Craig Hamilton currently 5th position, and El Dragon currently 8th position are the only drivers that have not yet taken a pit stop. Horla in first will likely be looking to do so soon. It has been 16 laps on the C4 soft tires for them, with only 30 left to go. It is getting to that time where you will want to take a pit stop. Smooth Anderson pulling the gap massively out ahead of Wonder 7. Wonder 7 potentially an off-track incident there. Orlov now has a massive... I believe the gap in the leaderboard will not be accurate until right now, but Orlov with still a 40-second gap ahead of Emery K. And that is Emery K on the fresher tires, only 3 laps on their set. Orlov with 17 will be feeling the degradation, and I would expect will be taking a pit stop soon. Smooth Anderson potentially looking to hunt down Emery K here, only 4 seconds behind. We are going to keep an eye on that gap. Orlov not yet into the pits. Smooth Anderson will want to catch Emery K here. Is only a couple of corners behind, but that is a lot here in Formula 1. 4.3 seconds. We've seen it down to 3.8. We've seen it up to 4.5. And Smooth Anderson will be looking to get that gap all the way down to 0 in the coming laps. Orlov still does not appear to be making their way to the pit lane. Nope, still staying out on track, having just lapped Craig Hamilton in 5th position, and not yet pulling the trigger to get a fresh set of tires. They will surely be feeling the degradation out here today. Orlov now saying over the radio the tires are feeling a bit weak in the 3rd sector. They will want to take a pit stop soon, surely. But being nearly lapping 4th position here, they will want to pull this gap out as much as they can before they do so. Smooth Anderson still catching Emery K very slowly, 3.5 now between the two of them, 3.6. Horlev now finally into the pit lane. We are going to jump onto the onboard camera, and they will be looking to beat Emery K out of the pits. I'm not sure they will be able to do so. making their way now to their pit box. Emery K passing L Dragon, who has had an off-track incident. It is a quick stop for Horlev, and they get back out onto the track. Emery K, still just having entered the third sector, will not have a chance to get by. Horlev will hold this gap out to 10, maybe 15 seconds. And that is exactly the stop that they needed. Horlev still in first position. And Emery K, seeing any chance of a win here, slip away. Gap between them, 20 seconds between first and second position. Smooth Anderson still looking to catch up to Emery K. 3.5, 3.6 between them, so the pace seems to be fairly equal at the moment. Wonder 7 now coming into the pits for, I believe, their first or second stop of the day. I'm not sure. Craig Hamilton still. Okay, Craig Hamilton just now making their way into the pit lane for their first stop. Wonder 7 back on track, and it is their second stop of the day, so they will be looking at potentially a 3-stop here in Vallelunga. Bit of a lockup for Smooth Anderson. May cost them a bit of time. They're still closing very, very slowly. We've seen the gap down to 3.3, 3.4, opening back now to 3.6. Smooth Anderson will have to find a bit more pace in that Ferrari if he wants to catch up to Emery K. Bug X only 3 seconds now behind Wonder 7 in the BMW car. Wonder 7, though, having just come out of the pits, will likely have more pace, and that gap will not close. We see LB906 into the pits for their second stop. Smooth Anderson closing the gap now 3.2, 3.3 seconds. Slowly but steadily, Smooth Anderson is catching up to Emery K, and we should see a battle here before too long. L Dragon still the only driver to have not taken a pit stop. Horlev on the fresh tires puts in the quickest lap at 1:10.649 for them. Smooth Anderson still trying to catch up to Emery K. 3.3 between them. Gap is closing, but it's not closing terribly quickly. And it is opening once again, 3.5 now between Smooth and Emery K. Smooth is going to have to find some more consistency if he wants to catch Emery by the end of the race. We see Emery on 5 lap newer tires will potentially have a bit more grip. Emery on the mediums as well, Smooth on the softs, will be feeling the degradation a bit harder. And for Smooth, it looks like, in the strategy for Smooth, it looks like a P2 finish may not be very likely. Smooth will most certainly have to stop again. Emery K potentially will as well, but Emery K will be able to hold out a lot longer on this set of tires. Smooth Anderson will start feeling the degradation. It is 13 laps on the pair of softs. We saw Horlev pit after only 19. Emery K, though, will be able to stay out quite a bit longer. Horlev passing some lap traffic, no issues for them. Horlev complaining over the radio about Thug X, I believe, who they have just lapped. Smooth Anderson now closing the gap a bit more to Emery K, 2.7 seconds. This is the largest improvement that we have seen yet. Smooth Anderson potentially looking at a chance to catch Emery, but once again the strategy is not in their favor today. Track temperature is 29 degrees Celsius. We see some lap traffic here. Smooth D. Anderson still 2.7 off the back of Emery K, but between them sits it appears to be Craig Hamilton in P6. Some laps traffic there in the Mercedes car. Potentially has held up Emery K. Smooth D. Anderson will hope that they won't do the same to them. And we do see Craig Hamilton moving off to the side, letting Smooth D. Anderson by, as they should, being a lap down, and that leaves Smooth only 2.4 seconds behind Emery K, so closing this gap much quicker than we have seen thus far. Horolov still 24 seconds ahead of Emery K. After their pit stop, that was only, I believe, 22, so Horolov still showing a bit better pace. Smooth D. Anderson will be looking to funnel some of that as they catch Emery K little by little. Still 2.4, 2.5 between them. Smooth will be looking to make that 0. Bit of curb on the inside for Smooth D. Anderson, keeping it on the track just barely. See Craig Hamilton showing decent pace, not falling too far behind Smooth D. Anderson after being lapped. Smooth still unable to catch up to Emery K so far, though. We see some laps traffic ahead of Horolov. They will have to move out of the way shortly. And that appears to be Wonder 7, who is about 30 seconds behind Smooth right now. Smooth still trying to close the gap to Emery K. Emery K showing the pace to hold it open, still 2.3. We saw it down to 2.2 for a moment, but Smooth unable, it seems, to have the pace, potentially to have the consistency to catch Emery K before the end of the race. We are over halfway through now, 27 of 50 laps. We've seen all of our cars take a pit stop except L Dragon XY, who is still out on a set of mediums. Has been for the last 23 laps. And we have seen Wonder 7 already take 2 pit stops, and that will give them an advantage later on. Smooth D. Anderson now into the pits for their second stop, getting some fresh tires, getting some fresh mediums, and getting back out onto the track. Will they come out ahead of Wonder 7? Yes, they will. That is great news for them. That will essentially guarantee them the podium here today. We have 24 laps left. I expect Smooth D. Anderson will do all of them on this set of medium tires. Emery K now will be looking to avoid the undercut, potentially will be coming in this lap. L Dragon XY off the track. Doesn't appear to be any problematic traffic nearby for them. Smooth D. Anderson now just has to keep it consistent and to keep the pace up as to close the virtual gap to Emery K, so that when Emery K does pit, when they come out, they will come out behind Smooth D. Anderson. Emery K on the older tires, it is 12 lap old mediums for them. Potentially will not have as much pace as Smooth on the fresh ones. Horolov has now lapped Wonder 7. Will they lap the podium by the end of the race? That would be very impressive if so. L Dragon XY has finally come into the pits, looking for a one-stop here in Vallelunga. We are going to follow Horolov on board for a lap around this track. Some sweeping corners for the first few turns. And into turn, I believe turn 3, potentially turn 4, which is this double apex right-hander. once again flat out for the following straight. And into the theme of this track, which is a long right-hand corner. We see one here, we see one 2 corners later, and we see one 3 corners after that. Orlov now through the hard braking zone into the sharp left-hander that marks the middle of Sector 2. And once again a long right-hand corner, which brings us onto this mini straight and into Sector 3, which we open up with a nice long left-hander into a bit of a slalom here. It's a left followed by a right, and suddenly we have only one more corner left, that being of course final corner, a long right-hander that brings us back to the start-finish straight. A bit of oversteer there for Horolov, nothing catastrophic. Thug X appears to be off the track. We're going to jump over to them as they get back on the track. It was turn 4 there. As they look to be keeping it clean now, we're going to head back to Smooth D. Anderson, who will be the man to watch once Emery K comes back out of the pits. It is only 1 stop for Emery. It is 2 for Smooth D. Anderson. Emery on the 14-lap old mediums. We'll see that we have 20 laps to go. Will likely be looking for a pit stop at some point. We see here only the first 3 cars are now on the lead lap. Horolov has lapped everyone except for Smooth D. Anderson and Emery K. Once again, an incredible drive from them. We've seen it before and we are seeing it once again today. And who's that off the track? That is Thug X once again off the track, potentially struggling with the tire temperatures. Wonder 7 will be lapping them very soon. As we see some pretty large gaps between our cars here. It is 30 seconds to first place, 17 behind. That can't be accurate, but yeah, Wonder 7 having not yet made it to the line, the gaps will not be accurate, but 40 behind them, 10 seconds behind 27, and then 2 laps to 8th position. Wonder 7 now crosses the line, completing their 32nd lap, and we see it is a 27-second gap between them and 3rd position. Smooth D. Anderson will not have another pit stop to make. Emery K most likely will, and that is going to give Smooth D. Anderson an opportunity here to fight for 2nd position. Orlov, I don't believe, will be stopping again, but even if they did, they have the gap to do it without losing any positions. Only 16 seconds now between Smooth D. Anderson and Emery K. Emery K has to be knowing when they do come into the pits, it is going to be very, very close to Smooth D. Anderson, if not behind. Smooth running a bit wide, nothing too catastrophic there. Horolov crosses the line, starting the 33rd lap of the day. Smooth Anderson closing the gap a little bit to Emery K. I'm not sure they'll have the pace to outright catch them by the end, but that is putting a lot of pressure on Emery K after they make their pit stop. Emery K is losing time to Smooth Anderson, and that is going to hurt them later on. We see Craig Hamilton now only 2 seconds behind LB906. This is a gap we haven't seen before. I'm not sure where it came from, but we are going to follow it for a moment. Smooth Anderson only 12 seconds now behind Emery. Whoa, LB906 stopping on track, teleporting back to the pits, and that is going to give the position to Craig Hamilton, and that is going to be terrible news for LB. If they could have only made it to the line, they would have gained a lap, but now they're going to lose it. Or are they retiring? LB appears to have run out of fuel, had to teleport back to the pits, and they are going to lose a lot of time now. That is 2 positions gone for them. Craig Hamilton now making their way into the pits. And Smooth Anderson closing the gap up even further, 11 seconds to Emery K now. And Emery K is just seeing their chances at second position slip further and further away as we go on. Smooth Anderson has the better pace. Let's look at a comparison here. Yeah, Smooth faster in every sector. 8 tenths in the final sector, 4 tenths in the first 2. So lots of gains from Smooth Anderson here. Honestly, may be able to catch Emery on outright pace alone. However, Emery K, I have to believe, will be making another pit stop. And that is going to be terrible news for them, as it will give the position at this point, I believe, to Smooth Anderson. Smooth Anderson closing the gap further, 9 seconds now to Emery K. And Emery K into the pit lane. How I missed that, I'm not sure. New tires, potentially fuel for them, and they are going to be behind Smooth Anderson by quite the large margin, actually. Smooth Anderson will say thank you very much and is going to drive off into the sunset with second position. 40 seconds between them and Horlev. That is a gap that I don't see closing. We see some lapse traffic there passing Emery K. Emery K will be repassing very shortly, potentially even into turn 4. Wonder 7, 34 seconds behind, and Emery K with an 11-second gap to close in only about 10 laps if they want to have a fight for second position. That is going to be a very tall order indeed. However, Emery K on a fresh pair of softs, the C5 tires, the softest ones that we have, may just be able to do it. That is Smooth Anderson on 11-lap old mediums. Hards, depending on how you look at it, and Emery K on fresh, soft, super soft tires. Will potentially be struggling with degradation a bit towards the end, but it may not matter if they can get the move done early on Smooth Anderson. Right now, though, not looking like Emery K is going to have the pace to do it. We're going to put the gap up on the screen. We're going to actually check out the sector comparison. And this still has the pit timings there, so it won't be accurate for about 30 seconds until Emery K crosses the line. We're just going to have a look at the gap for the moment. 10.1 seconds is the gap that Emery K needs to close. They have only 11 laps to do it. 1 second per lap is a very tall order. Last lap for Smooth, a 112.2. Last lap for Emery, a 115.1. However, that is with the pit exit included. Emery K closing a couple of tenths. Will that be enough to catch by the end of the race? We will have to wait and see. Emery K coming across the line. They won 11.1, about 5 tenths quicker than Smooth in the last lap. Very impressive indeed, but it will not be enough to catch by the end of the race. If we saw Emery K putting in some qualifying lap times here, potentially they would be able to do it, but they also have to think about the tires and think about the fuel, things that they do not want to deplete before the end of the race. Bit of lap traffic here ahead of Emery K. Appears to be LB906. Hopefully will move out of the way without much trouble if Emery K wants a chance at passing. L Dragon XY off the track once again. 2 laps behind. It's not going to affect them too much. See Emery K finally getting past that lap traffic there. LB906 not wanting to move out of the way, and that is going to cost Emery K some time. 10 laps left, and still a 10-second gap for Emery K to close. Smooth Anderson actually quicker in the last lap, likely again due to that lap's traffic impeding Emery K a bit. We are also seeing a bit of lockups for Emery K. It's only been 4 laps on these tires, but they are the fastest degrading compound available. Emery K may start feeling it before they expected, and that could be catastrophic for their hopes at position 2. Emery K losing just so much time, actually. Okay, not really. Emery K losing a couple tenths in the last lap. 111.6 for Smooth, 111.8 for Emery, so not what they will be looking for. And it is looking now like Emery K is going to have to settle for position 3. Bugx into the pit lane for some fresh tires. Coming out of the pit lane in 5th position, they are likely going to drop back to 6th as Craig Hamilton is around the final corner, and Craig is going to take 5th position. Bugx is going to have some work to do if they are to catch, and that is a huge gap. I do not see it closing by the end of the race. 9 seconds for them, going to be 12 before the end of this straight, and Thugx is going to be 6th position. Emery K closing the gap a bit. It's down to 9.1 seconds. Smooth Anderson has crossed the line, so our gap will not be accurate for the moment. Now across the line, Emery K 9.1 seconds away, but only 8 laps left in the race. They are closing. It's a 112.8 versus a 111.9, but that is not enough. And Emery K running wide off the track, that is not what they will be looking for. Was there a collision there between Smooth and Thug X? There may have been. It doesn't seem to have cost Smooth too much time. Emery K just unable to keep their lines consistent enough here to be able to catch Smooth. It's 8.8 between them. But with only 7 laps to go, that will be a very, very tall order if Emery is to catch. And with these tires, they will be degrading more and more as we go on. Once again, the softest compound we have, also the fastest degrading. And Emery K will be feeling that as we approach the end of the race. Dragon into the pits once again. Could not evidently make the one-stop work. Whether it's fuel or tires, I don't know. But they are getting another set now. Emery K 7.5 behind Smooth Anderson, but only 6 laps left. Once again, very, very close, but not quite showing the pace to catch Smooth Anderson by the end of the race. Unless we see a big mistake from Smooth now. Smooth will be on 20-lap-old mediums by the end of the race. However, Emery K will be on 11-lap-old ultra softs. And that is... it is going to hurt Emery K, I think, more than it is going to hurt Smooth Anderson. And I believe Emery K will not be able to close up the gap by the end of the race. Emery K still about 7.5 off the back of Smooth. Now only 5 laps left after Horlev has crossed the line, so I don't see it happening. I don't see Smooth losing so much pace suddenly that Emery K is able to catch, and it is likely going to be Smooth P2 and Emery P3 at the end. Thug X on the fresh Ultra Softs puts in the quickest Sector 2 that we have seen yet. Great work from them. Potentially we'll have a chance at fighting for fast lap. We will wait and see. There you go, Thug X putting in the fastest lap of the race, a 110.487, nearly 2/10 ahead of Horlev's quickest lap, a 110.649. Now, is Horlev going to care? They have the margin to take another pit stop, get a fresh pair of Ultra Softs, and I'm sure come back with the quickest lap. They will likely not take that risk, though. Emery K losing time now to Smooth Anderson, 8.3 behind, as Horlev crosses the line, marking the start of the 46th lap of the race. We have only 4 to go. Emery K, you can see, struggling with the tires, a bit of locking, a bit of sliding through the corners. Were the Ultra Softs the right choice here? Potentially not. And who's this? Wonder 7 once again into the pits. A third pit stop for them. They are going to lose out 4th position to Craig Hamilton. Potentially are going to lose out 6th position, 5th position now to Thug X. Exiting the pit lane, Thug X does get ahead. That is going to leave Wonder 7 down in 6th, and it is going to promote Craig and Thug X up a position to P5 and P6 respectively. However, we now have Oh, I'm sorry. Wonder 7 is a lap ahead. That pit stop did nothing for them. My mistake. Emery K still losing time to Smooth, all the way back up to 9.3 seconds gap between them now. Emery K seeing any chance they had at P2 slipping away. K running a bit wide, keeping it facing forwards, but not able to put the pace down that they would need to catch Smooth. Only 2.5 laps left here in Vallelunga, and it is looking like Horlev is going to be the one that takes it today. Emery K off the track once again, clearly struggling for grip on the ultra soft tires. Horlev catching up to some lap traffic. That's LB906. We've seen LB give a bit of a hard time before. Will we see it now? Horlev in the Porsche car, currently first position by a huge margin, and that is Emery K into the pits. They could not make the ultra soft tires last, and they have the margin behind to switch them out for a fresh pair, and that is exactly what they will do. LB906 appears to be holding out ahead of Horlev. They are on the fresher tires. Potentially will have a bit more pace. It's not going to make a difference for Horlev either way. Horlev has a huge, probably about 30-second margin, maybe more, ahead of second position, so they will not have an issue with LB, although they will want to get past. Bit of lockup from both of these cars. Tire degradation clearly a factor here. And LB906 now just ahead of Horlev. Does not appear to be yielding the position. Why, I'm not sure. It's not going to make a difference for Horlev. Just for the love of the game, I suppose. We have just 2 laps left here in Vallelunga. Horlev leads, Smooth Anderson second position, and LB finally having to yield to Horlev. Horlev 40 seconds ahead of second place, Smooth 30 seconds ahead of third, and Emery a large margin ahead of Wonder 7. Large gaps between all of our cars here. Very, very unlikely we will see any more action before the end of the race. That's Smooth Anderson into the pits, not having it with those tires anymore, but they should have the margin to take a pit stop and to remain ahead of Emery K. That is going to leave Horlev with an opportunity to lap second place. Yeah, we see Smooth Anderson staying just miles ahead of Emery K. We're going to jump on board with Horlev. This is the final lap, and it has been absolute domination from them here today in Vallelunga. Thug X still with the fastest lap of the day. We'll be quite proud of that, I'm sure. But Horlev about halfway through final lap of the race now, chasing down Smooth Anderson. Likely will not be able to catch them, but if they did, that would be lapping second position. That is a remarkable feat. Horlev and Smooth Anderson will be the only cars to finish on the lead lap. And Horlev now making their way through the final corner. It has been absolute domination, and it has been an amazing race for them. They have shown pace that no one else could as they weave to celebrate crossing the line and taking home first position for Horlov. We see now Smooth Anderson making their way through their final lap. They are second position. The data is wrong. Please ignore it. But Horlov making their way through the final lap. Nearly a full lap. I'm sorry, Smooth Anderson making their way through the final lap. Nearly a full lap behind Horlov. But with a large margin ahead of Emery K, who will finish third position. So we see some more lapped traffic crossing the finish line now, but it is going to be second position, Smooth Anderson, third position, Emery K. Smooth now making their way through the final corner. And crossing the start-finish line, taking home second position. Emery K in third, Wonder 7 in fourth, Craig Hamilton in fifth, Bugx in sixth, LB906 in 7th, and L Dragon in 8th position. It has been an incredible race today. We've seen some incredible battles of racecraft and battles of strategy here in Vallelunga. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you in 2 days